how to connect with your feminine energy when it comes to bringing in our life what we really desire, quality of our relationship, wealth and abundance. Anything that we desire all starts with our energy. I will share with you some tips that have helped me to connect with my feminine energy. One thing is to release control. When we are addicted to want to control everything, it can make us want to be perfectionists. It cuts the flow of things. For example, with this project that I have about creating this course, one way I could do that is to record everything, then edit everything. And another way, which is more flowy, is to do it live and then to upload the live video without too much editing, trusting that I am downloading what I need to say. If I do a live stream, I can just be present, download the information and the wisdom, send it, and that is it. But if I'm recording a video, then I need to edit that video, and depending on how much control I have, I will edit and re-edit and add this and that, and it's taking so much time. So releasing control is a beautiful thing that helped me always to connect with my feminine energy. It means that I am okay with making mistakes. I'm okay with not being perfect, with not having it right the first time, trusting that me showing up is the most important thing, and me continuing to working on myself is the most important thing as well, so that every time that I show up, I can improve a little bit. So it's the same for you. What is one thing that you absolutely want to control? Is it in your relationship area? So 11:11. I take this time to remember my blessings to receive. This is another point that is so important when it comes to feminine energy, which leads me to my next step about being in the receiving mode. So when I program 11:11 on my alarm like this, and it comes, I remember all my blessings and I amplify those blessings to connect with your feminine energy, to be aware of all the blessings that are already in your life, to be grateful for those blessings and to amplify them. When you amplify that energy of receiving, of gratitude, it also amplifies your feminine energy. You trust more that you are already blessed and that you will get more no matter how you release control. You are taken care of. So this is a beautiful reminder. And for me, 11:11 is like a high energy. And when I can flow with that energy, it also amplifies my energy. It is also the same how when the sun, the earth, and the moon are aligned, like full moon or new moon, for me, it's also a high energy. And it's not just for me, right? Because when you look at the sea, like we were in holiday on the North Sea this summer, you can see the tides, the movement of the tide, the ebb and the flow, how they can be amplified on full moon, on new moon. And it's the same with our energy, with our emotions. They are also amplified in those periods. Use those periods to amplify what you want to create, or to recognize your blessing and be in receiving mode for something new to come. Being in appreciation for what we already have is what makes the universe want to give you more. Imagine that your spouse gives you a cup of tea. If you appreciate that cup of tea, oh, thank you so much, and you say how it makes you feel supported, then next time they want to give you more. They want to do more for you. Maybe next time they will bring you green juice or something like that, that you will also enjoy and express your appreciation. And it's the same for the universe. When you get the blessings, the more you can appreciate those blessings, the more you get, so that you can appreciate that what you've got. And sometimes you will think, no, I will appreciate when I get more. I need more. But if you are not able to appreciate what you have now, there is no guarantee that you will know how to appreciate the more that will come in. Focus on appreciating and enjoying what you have now, and amplify that what you have now as if it was already that more that you are desiring. Which leads me to my next step about how to connect with the feminine energy, which is acknowledging our desires. We desire something in our heart, but we don't say it openly to the universe. It's more like, yes, I would love this, but no, I'm already fulfilled, right? Of course, it's a beautiful thing to be already fulfilled at the level where you are at. But when you are already fulfilled at that level and you don't put a clear intention out there for what you want to receive more, like acknowledging your desire, it's more like, okay, she's already fulfilled, she doesn't need more. There is this beautiful dichotomy, like, women, what are you going to choose? Do you choose love or do you choose wealth? But there is a possibility to have both, to have the love, to have the wealth, to have everything that you desire. But you need to be really clear on what you desire at a specific moment in your life. For me, for example, right now, I am desiring to create wealth in my life. So I cannot just say, oh no, I'm already fulfilled the way I am, because that is going to delay that wealth even more. But acknowledging, yes, I desire to attract wealth and abundance and money in my life is going to make the universe understand, wow, she's fulfilled, but she has that desire. And instead of letting myself go in the lack mentality and being like, oh, I don't have what I desire, I don't have the wealth yet, I can transform it and think about, how do I already have wealth in my life? For example, starting wearing my beautiful stuff, like the jewelry, the clothes that I already know, this is a side of wealth in my life. Acknowledging that my beautiful relationship, fulfilling relationship, my beautiful children, healthy, loving, and fulfilled, those are already side of wealth. My perfect health, this is already a side of wealth. And since I want the monetary wealth as well, then I can convert all the wealth that I already have into that monetary wealth. That is, for example, how I can come and share the knowledge, the wisdom that I have in all those areas, create a course and be self-worthy, deserving enough to receive also the appreciation of the people who are going to get that course, for example. And when it's the community, like the free content creation, like right now, it's also paying it forward, giving the value already to the people who are going to appreciate what I'm creating. So it's important to acknowledge our desires, because when we talk about our energy, there are different energy centers in our body. They cannot be seen with the eyes, but they are present. And so there is the root energy center, then the sacral energy center. And that sacral energy center is where our feminine energy is. And that center is characterized by our desires. The root center is characterized by our survival. It is important that we balance all our energy centers. I will just cite those energy centers so that we have an idea. We have the solar plexus energy center, then we have our heart energy center, and then we have our throat energy center, then we have the third eye energy center, and then we have our crown energy center. So when all those energy centers are balanced, we are living a fulfilled life and we are able to express ourselves in accordance to all the attributes of those energy centers. So the root is where our survival is, that we feel at ease and safe in our environment. Before we can go to the next energy center, it is important that the other ones, the lower ones, are balanced. But it's not so linear, right? It's not like, okay, I will work on this area first, and when that has happened in balance, then I will go to the next level. It's more like we are spiraling. Sometimes we go up and sometimes we go back down in order to clean another level of an energy center. And why do I talk about the energy centers right now? It's because our feminine energy can really blossom when we have cleared the root energy center. This is why things like letting go of survival mode is important and very helpful to make your energy, feminine energy, blossom, as well as grounding yourself. Earthing, for example, or grounding is connecting with the earth, and it's grounding you. It's making you more balanced, more safe, have that confidence in your environment. There is a movie, it's called Earthing, and you can watch that movie because they have scientific experiment where they show a body that has been grounded in comparison to a body that has not been grounded. I think like 2 hours can help you see how some energy center get brighter when you are grounding yourself. And it's explained that the electrons on the surface of the earth that they get from the sun is getting in your body when you take off your shoes, for example, and you do a work on grass. So that is the science behind the grounding. And I believe that it's the same with other elements of nature. Like when you are in water, you also get the element of that water. By the way, water is the element of the feminine energy. It's the element of the sacral chakra also, the sacral energy center, which is located 4 fingers below your navel. So if you are putting your attention on that energy center, you can also send positive energy there, and this is how it will get healed and balanced. So opening the hips, lying on your bed, for example, and you put your feet together and your knees go open. The movement of the hips also are going to help us to open the feminine energy. So you can see there are so many layers. But one thing that I love to do in order to connect with my feminine energy is, for example, when you work, you can slow down your work, move your hips, you can move your arms also. You look around you instead of just looking on the phone like some people love to do, or on the floor. You look your environment and you feel blessed. You can repeat in yourself, I am so blessed, and you can take in all that beauty from nature, and this is how you are amplifying your own feminine energy. Which leads me to my next step, being present in the moment. Connect with your breathing and being present with what you are doing. Like right now, I'm present in this live stream, and this is all what matters. Imagine when you are practicing being present, you can even imagine a sun ray coming from the sky and filling you with everything that you think that you need. See that is filling every cell of your body with peace, with love, with your feminine energy. Prioritizing that connection with your divine feminine energy is going to be so useful. And how can you do that? Self-care, self-love. What are the things that you know are beneficial for you when you do them? It's so different for each one of us, and you have to be true to yourself. For example, I love the walks in nature. I love going to the forest because I feel that energy is so calming. It's so grounding. The Japanese, they have a name for that, and they call that Shinrin Yoku, which means forest bath, like you are bathing in the elements of the forest. You can listen to the sound. Our feminine energy is also our sensuality. And when we think about sensuality, we can think about the sexual energy, which is also part of our feminine energy, but we can also think about our senses. So listening to something, tasting something when you eat food, amplifying the taste, seeing the colors of the food, being aware of all those textures. All of this is helping us to really heighten our feminine energy. By the way, the sacral energy center is characterized by the color orange. So when you wear orange things, when you eat orange food, they also help you to strengthen your sacral chakra, and that means also your feminine energy. And by the way, for the root chakra is the color red. When you see people wearing a lot of red, they are also working on that root energy, which is going to make them more grounded and more balanced in that area. Which leads me to my next step. A beautiful way to connect with our feminine energy is to connect with our inner child. Think about your inner child, especially if you have had a balanced childhood. Even if you haven't, there are moments in that childhood that reminds you of the definition of a beautiful, fulfilled child. Playfulness, they are not so afraid of things. They can just be themselves, high level of self-trust, because they know also the self-worth, right? They don't question it. The society haven't programmed them to start questioning themselves at that young age, especially when they are in a healthy environment when they can blossom. If that was not the ideal childhood, then you can still reparent yourself, right? If it was full of trauma, if it was full of abuse, you can reparent yourself. The things that happened in the past, they did happen, but we are responsible today to heal those past traumas. And with all of my compassion, I send so much love for anybody who has had a difficult childhood. But there is also this view that at some degree, every one of us have had their own share of challenges, be it in childhood or teenage years or in adulthood. Being aware of that will help us to get out of the victim mode and wanting to prove to everyone that oh, my case was so much more dramatic. Let me tell you the story. And then we get caught in that telling of the story without an end. So instead of being caught in that storytelling, ask yourself, is it something that I want to keep for myself? It's one of the things that is going to really help us to connect with the divine feminine energy, which is the highest expression, the highest vibration of your feminine energy. Leads me to my next step is really to understand that we need to create a new identity that represents ourselves in our divine feminine energy, which is different from ourselves in our past trauma, in our victim mentality, in our unempowered identity, where we let everything else block us, make us feel stuck and not evolve toward what we really desire. So knowing that it's constantly an energetical game where you are going to be asked, which energy do you want to represent in this moment? Are you going to go with the old energy, the old identity, who is playing small, who is trying to be the victim, who has so many limiting beliefs that are not getting you in the direction of what you want? Or are you going to represent the higher vibrational energy that has the determination to bring those desires into reality? The desires are in your heart because they already exist. And now you are creating the path to connect with those desires. And the way can be easy. You can let it be easy by connecting with your feminine energy and by flowing. Those are the characteristics of the feminine energy. Acknowledging your desire, flowing, not making things more difficult than they need to be, not complicating things, not falling into the perfectionism, not falling into forgetting your self-worth, because we are all worthy just for existing. But sometimes we forget that and we need to prove that we are worthy. And then we forget that we were already worthy to start with. So we complicate things, although they don't need to be complicated. Connecting with our inner child is going to be giving us that permission to play, that right to recognize our self-worth, that we are worthy no matter what we have done or not done. We are worthy of love and we are serving anyway. So don't judge yourself too harsh, no matter what you have done or not done, because this is also going to bring us in shame or guilt, which are going to make us get out of the divine feminine energy and into the wounded feminine energy, which can also lead to the lack of trust in ourselves and lack of trust in others. So letting go of survival mode. Our brain can be so addicted to suffering, to struggling, to being the victim, to telling our old story over and over again. Although the past is already gone, it doesn't exist anymore. Now is the present moment and it's all what you have. And you can use the present moment to create the future. In the present moment, prioritize connecting with yourself. Prioritize getting out of the survival mode. And how can you do this? It's by slowing down. When you slow down and you do that inner work, you look at those limiting beliefs, you let them go if they are not serving you, they are not helping you, right? And you choose more elevated belief that will help you to go forward. One affirmation that you can say to yourself is that I am safe. I am safe and I am secure and I trust. And you can train yourself to trust any soul that you meet. One thing that really helped me to create better relationships, because I trust everybody that I see until they show me that they are not worthy of my trust. And then I will be like, okay, I put you a little bit away from my energy because I can see how that is influencing my energy. This is part of your dark feminine energy, setting your boundaries, which leads me to my next step. Since everything starts with our energy, it's so important that we protect our energy, that we prioritize our energy. And so when we see things that don't help us to blossom our energy, it makes sense to distance ourselves from those things. And it doesn't mean that we are better than, right? It just means that we are taking the time to heal. We are giving ourselves permission to heal, because it's a level of consciousness where we are that make us feel, oh, I am in danger here. And this is the survival mode. In the prehistoric time or something, when our ancestor needed to protect themselves from predators. If there is a tiger or something running after you, you have to survive. So all of the other functions of your body that are not necessary are going to shut down for that short period of time so that you can run as fast as you can. This is going away, or you will fight with that tiger if you are so strong, I don't know, or you will hide, right? You will search for a good place to hide. And this is how, in our modern world, we can have those characteristics when we don't feel safe, when we feel endangered. We will seem to take ourselves away to hide because we feel like, oh, this is a predator hunting me. So I need to protect myself. I need to protect my energy. And the more we can trust our environment, the better it is. So at a level of consciousness where we can balance our perception and recognize that even the people we think are predators, they are just being used by the universe to help us to grow. Think about those things, those people who will trigger you, right? Push your buttons, for example. When you take the time to listen to yourself, why am I triggered by this? Why are my buttons pushed? You will see one area of your life where you still need some healing. And you will see that when you heal that area, you level up, you quantum leap into a next level because that area was taking your energy down. And now that is free, now that is healed, you can level up and go on the next level. So the people who trigger us, they are actually helping us to empower ourselves when we take the time to heal that trigger and to have our button not not pushed anymore. When you let people trigger you, it's like they are living in your head space rent-free. They are putting your mind in imbalance, which leads me to my next step. Take your power back and rebalance your mind, understanding that this is just an illusion. The reality is that there is only love. And love being the definition that, like, the synthesis and the synchronicity of complementary opposites. That is the reality. Meaning that if at some moment you only see the triggers, then you are not seeing the benefit, like your empowerment that will come from seeing that trigger and healing it. And this is also a beautiful way how you can connect with your divine feminine energy because you are above the perception, the lopsided perception of, oh, this is bad and that is good. You can understand that they are all illusions and there is a center where there is only love. If you can connect to that part by balancing the mind, understanding that all the things that your mind is telling you, all your mind shatter is not necessarily the truth. All your mind shatters is just a perception at one moment in time. When you understand that, you can then be balanced. And when you are balanced like that in your mind, you are also relaxed in your body. And when you are in that state, you have actually connected with your divine feminine energy.